Welcome to the Solid Signal Podcast for the week of November 4th, 2019. We're going to give this a try this morning since it seems the podcasting software just got updated, and, well, that always makes me a little bit nervous because I'm not 100% sure that it's going to work. I do these kind of podcasts on the fly, as it were, and that means that a lot of times I have an outline but not a script, and so you're capturing a live performance. If you don't capture it when it happens, well, you go back and you're not going to get the same performance again. Perhaps a flaw in the way that I do things, but it does seem to work in general. Anyway, the topic for this week's podcast is the cost of cord cutting. Cord cutting was actually down last quarter, and I think that the reason is it's just beginning to get so darn expensive. Hardly a day goes by when somebody doesn't come up to me and say, I really thought I'd save money cutting the cord. I really thought that it would be easier, and I thought that I would have a better experience. Cut out the cable company and just, go straight streaming. And the truth is, no, it's harder. So you've got everything on auto pay, and you don't really worry about the fact that you are probably paying for 7 different services. You just don't see it. It shows up on your credit card bill. That's okay and everything like that. But the challenges of cord cutting have gotten greater and greater and greater. And these were all things that you could really live with if you were going to be saving a ton of money. Search has always been a problem for cord cutters because it's hard to find the thing that you're looking for if you don't know what service it's on. You end up kind of going to websites like justwatch.com, that's one that I use, or just kind of searching from app to app to app until you find what you want. There's no one app that really does it all. You could say, 8 or 9 years ago that Netflix was that app, but those days are long gone. And it's going to get worse, by the way. It seems like every major studio, every major provider, and this includes AT&T, the parent company of DirecTV and Solid Signal as DirecTV preferred dealer, is beginning to create its own little walled garden, to use Apple terminology, where all of its content is going to live and it's not going to live anywhere else. That's frustrating, of course, because you as a consumer don't necessarily know who makes that show that you really liked. Until recently, could you have told me that Warner Brothers was the company that made Friends? No, probably not. No, you remember that it was on NBC, and so, okay, maybe you'd look for it on the NBC app. You wouldn't find it, by the way, even now. Friends is on Netflix, and you can find it streaming some episodes on the Paramount Network app, and you can find it live on television, but that's it. That's it. You're not going to find it on the NBC app, and it's confusing. I get that. So these little confusions, these little, indignities is a great word for that. I like to use that word a lot. Are okay if you're saving $100, but you're probably already paying at least $50 for streaming services today. And you're going to pay more in the future. So what can you do? Well, the first thing that may not sound like it makes common sense, but it actually does, is take another look at pay television. If you've got DirecTV satellite, for example, and I love to use that one as an example, you've got all of your content with one guide. You can search for stuff, and if it's available on demand, it's available on demand, and you just search for it. You don't have to worry about what app it's in, and you're not giving that stuff up. Okay, so, cancel Hulu and you're losing out on the increasingly irrelevant Handmaid's Tale. I get that. But you are able to authenticate to the ABC, NBC, and CBS apps and the Fox app. And, folks, this is common sense. If you know where you watch the show, you can find it on the app as long as it's the same season. It's the older stuff that it's impossible to find. Authenticating to these apps is free, it's easy, and so you're not giving anything up. You're still going to be able to stream when you look at getting a pay TV subscription. And not only that, with any major pay TV provider, you get an app that comes with it, although I personally like the DirecTV app because it lets you set recordings, it gives you a really nice guide, lets you control your receivers, gives you access to a ton of on-demand content that's available no matter where you are. It's really a great app, and that means you don't give stuff up. You're not really giving anything up by returning back to pay television. Or if you really want to cut the cord, I've been saying this for close to a decade now that going to streaming isn't really cutting the cord. You're giving your money, by the way, to the same people. Let's just say that you have Comcast for your internet. Well, guess what? You're giving money to Comcast for internet or cable, whichever you want. And then when they launch their Peacock app in the next year, which is NBC's streaming app, and NBC is owned by Comcast, you're going to give money to them also. You're not getting anywhere away from the big media companies if all you do is go from pay TV to streaming. If you really want to cut the cord, if you really want to cut costs, you want to be looking at a TV antenna. Over-the-air antennas are a pay-once, use-forever solution. It doesn't matter what the technology is. Over-the-air antennas are going to be good for it. The funny thing is that the oldest over-the-air antenna that you can imagine, the one that's been up on your grandpa's house since 1956, still works today, still pulls in channels today. So you take something like that and you get all the live TV. Okay, so maybe you subscribe to Hulu for, whatever it is, $8 a month or something like that, just so that you can get a backup of some of the content if you're not home when it's on. Because let's be honest, what a lot of people are watching, the content that's on network TV, they watch it live now, probably more than they did in the past. They're not watching more television, but when they are watching over-the-air television stuff that's available over the air, they're watching it live. It's reality competition stuff or sports or news, that kind of thing. So if you're looking at shows that you might want to watch later, okay, so you can get one streaming service to do that. In the meantime, you can supplement with tons of free streaming apps that are out there. I personally like Classics, Popcorn Flicks, Tubi. These are all great systems that give you tons and tons of content. Pluto is another one. Gives you tons and tons of content, and it's all free. This is what real cord cutting looks like, my friends, and the only way that you can do it is with an over-the-air antenna from Solid Signal. Don't get one that you find in the drugstore or in the home store. They don't know what they're talking about. Call the experts at 877-312-4547 or fill out one of those antenna request forms that you'll find at the top of solidsignal.com where it says Get Free Antenna Help, and get the right antenna for your area. You'll get dozens of channels, pay once, never pay again, and you'll be happy. And guess what? You'll probably save about $70-$80 that you can use to be happy in some other way. Just imagine taking your friends out or your significant other or your family out to a nice dinner every month for free. And that's what we're talking about, because you'll be paying with money that you saved that you were giving to somebody else, lots of streaming companies or whatever. That's about it for the podcast this week. Keep listening, and please click that subscribe button or that notify button to make sure that you're getting every podcast. We're looking to build the subscriber base of the Solid Signal podcast, and I sure would appreciate it if you would tell a friend. It's a fun little podcast. It doesn't go on that long, and I know that if you're still listening that you must think it's pretty decent anyway. That's all I've got. Have a great week.